pretty good.
My husband was a rock, and he continues to be patient as I, question, what should I be doing, or we need to eat more vegetables, or whatever it is that I drive him crazy with. It definitely impacts those relationships. I've always been close to my family, but now my sister came out for weeks at a time, and she's juggling a million things in her own life. So that's definitely changed our relationship. We're closer than we've ever been, for sure.
I don't think it's impacted relationships very much. Like I said, my wife already has been through this a couple of times with her mother and her mother's sister, and so she was emotionally familiar with the situation. So, she knew what needed to be done. So, relationship with her was very good. I'm very proud that she did what she did for me. That was definitely a help.
Fortunately, I was very strong in support with family and friends. I live away from the rest of my family, which was very new to me, but my husband picked up on my workload. He and I happened to work together at the same company in the same position, so he just rescued me, because we actually continued work completely through treatments.
Lots of help from family. My kids came out, and my husband, of course, was there, and my sisters, and lots of friends and neighbors. It was a big help.
We've taken on a puppy, which was remarkable for me. I'd never had a dog before, and he's been this sort of gift that's come into the family that's given us all a lot of joy, and well loved. And this exchange between the animal kingdom is something I would have never ever believed before. But it's a great thing, and she makes me walk her in the morning, and that's giving to me, because it's a great time, and it's I could not have done that when I was working. There's no way. Spent that kind of time, quality time with family and kids and the garden and walking and hiking. And I'm also fortunate for living in a beautiful area that provides access to beauty pretty easily.
My husband, aside from doing that, of course, took care of dinners and all the chores, and Taylor stepped up and did extra way beyond. She was doing dishes, laundry, and she was cooking some meals for us. So that's always nice from your 8 and 9-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah, my wife has been probably the best support, knowing that she'd been through the process before, so she knew what doctors to talk to and what sort of people you needed to talk to, and just being there, taking my crankiness when I was being cranky.
My friends were always there. They obviously don't know what it's like to go through it, but they've allowed me to sort of go on and on if I've needed to. My mom came to all the chemo sessions with me, which was nice. She brought me food. She came to talk.
My parents and my in-laws were amazing. They all stepped in and really cared for my children. My parents actually moved to the area, and then when they couldn't be here, my in-laws would come in and as we say, they'd pass the baton. And so there was always somebody here to care for my kids if I couldn't be there. I had friends who signed up to bring meals, and I would kind of specify, here's what I'm eating these days. And there were some days where I just couldn't even eat anything other than soup, but I just knew that my family needed to be fed. And so it just felt so good to know that there was always going to be a meal available on the days that I asked for them, so that I didn't have to worry about cooking.
One of my close friends on the soccer team found out. She instantly went into mom mode and coordinated dinners for every day of the week for a few weeks, just on a rotating basis. And we never knew who was dropping off dinner. It was just, they'd ring the doorbell and run. It was ding dong ditch with food.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was hysterical, but it was just the thoughtfulness of that.
My healthcare team was amazing. I was able to to talk frankly with a surgeon a day after, you know, I found out I had a tumor, who gave me a complete rundown of my life over the next 10 months. And I left that meeting completely confident that I was in the hands of very excellent doctors.
My doctors there were so warm and empathetic and understanding, and always took the time to answer any questions that I had. And their nurses, excuse me, their nurses were so hopeful. You know, things that I hadn't thought of. You know, obviously they've got the experience, but you know, just also checking in to make sure that they were very carefully monitoring everything that was going on with me.
The health team in the hospitals, the nurses were superb, well trained, great attitude. They pull you through.
My cousin and his wife Shannon, who are both doctors, and I don't know how I could have gotten through this without them. They were amazing. When I got the pathology report back, for example, it sounded good when I read it, and my doctor explained it to me. I mean, he was like, "This is fabulous. It all looks really good," and that's really kind of what he said, because that's what it was. It was fabulous. But I'm a little bit more. I don't know, I need more information than that. And so I called Jeremy and I literally read it to him. I was like, okay, and I can't pronounce this word, but this is how it's spelled. And Jeremy interpreted it line for line. And it was just incredible it was like, Jeremy was like my translator through the whole thing. And Shannon, same thing. I could call them at any hour of the day and ask them. And I did. And early on, I was calling them probably 4 or 5 times a day.
I wasn't the one getting the shot, wasn't getting the help from the nurses, but like I'd still be with my mommy in the room. And, you know, they'd even talk to me and they'd ask me about, like, how's it going and that kind of thing. So they actually try to get to know you. They don't just think of you as some other person and, you know, get it over with. They try to talk to you and help you through it.